What's happening, guys? Happy Sunday and welcome to the Fantasy Football Semifinals. My name is Memphis. You can follow me at DWZ Memphis. And with me, playing hurt, is my co-host for Football Sunday School. It is Jesse. Jesse, man, I'm going to ask you how you're feeling, even though I kind of know how you're feeling.
A little rough. Yeah, got the corona. Today is the symptoms they change every 3 hours. So for right now, I'm very stuffed up and kind of a sore throat and just kind of feeling dreary overall. But playing hurt, rub some dirt on it when I woke up. We're going to be fine.
Team player, ladies and gentlemen. The man is a team player to the point to where he literally just karate chopped his microphone right off the stand. We're not going to let it deter us from having a great show. So what we're going to do today, big week, a lot of people going to have a lot of questions, but what we're going to do real quick for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll get to every single question, is kind of go game by game and just asking some questions of what are you doing with certain players in this game? What are the big question marks in these games? So let's start at 1 p.m., Jesse. Buffalo going to New England. What are your question marks in this game? Who you starting, who you sitting? You know what? He's still plugging stuff in, so I'm going to go first. For me, if you love volume, and we all do, you got to love Stephon Diggs. No Gabriel Davis, no Cole Beasley. It's going to be him, Dawson Knox, and maybe Emmanuel Sanders. He's got a knee. I think you're just going to go with your guys. You got to love the usage pattern out of Devin Singletary over the last couple of weeks. He seems to be their feature go-to guy. So no questions on Buffalo. I'm going to ask you, Jesse, now that your microphone's put back together. What are you doing with Damien Harris? It looks like he's going to go.
Yeah, I have Damien Harris in one of my redraft leagues, and I'm rolling with him. Buffalo's a little tough of a matchup, but he should get a big workload. I love the talent. Belichick loves the talent, so I think he'll get fed. And like you mentioned earlier, he fared pretty well against them the first time he played them. So I'm rolling with it. I think it's going to be hard to find matchups or players much better than Damien Harris to start today.
Well, but before we get into that, David Donaldson in the chat wants to know, Jesse, is that a tracksuit?
It is not. It is not. It's just a shirt. It's just a shirt.
It's just a jacket. I thought Jesse.
No, it's just a shirt, actually.
If you guys know me at all, you know what a big fan of Marvel on top of fantasy football, dynasty fantasy football, gambling on football. You know what a fan of Marvel I am. And part of the villains on the Hawkeye TV series were the Tracksuit Mafia. I didn't want to say it when Jesse first sit down because the vans say trust a bro. So that's what we're going to do with Jesse today on this dynasty advice and fantasy advice is trust a bro named Jesse.
This is my Bobby Bacala tracksuit.
Bobby Bacalieri. Man, we've been talking a lot about him in the house as well. But yeah, New England, I got to agree. I'm in a situation where I'm debating, believe it or not, Stephon Diggs and Damien Harris. Jesse and I were having that conversation before we hit the record button. And my thought is that with no Gabriel Davis, with no Cole Beasley, if you're Bill Belichick, what are you going to do? You're going to take away Stephon Diggs. You're going to double him. You're going to bracket him. And you're going to force Josh Allen and Emmanuel Sanders and anyone they can get. Dawson Knox, maybe? Yeah. I don't know.
I like Sanders and Knox. I don't want to overstate it. I don't love either one of them because New England is just stingy overall on defense. And, they can make life really, really difficult on Buffalo. I expect them to play, 2 high safeties and blitz. And Josh Allen hasn't dealt with that tremendously well this year. But, it could be sort of through the air an Emmanuel Sanders game. And I do like Singletary as well.
Yeah, I've been doing prop bets on the show for the last little bit of forever, and from a receiving standpoint, I went Devin Singletary over 2.5 receptions as one of my props this week. I mean, just force usage. It was simply two games ago against Tampa Bay where he had 6 catches for 37 yards.
Yeah,
And
that's how you beat two high blitzing looks.
I agree. Now he didn't get any passing volume in the big wind game the last time these two played, but we were talking about doubling Stephon Diggs. We'll go ahead and jump to one of the 4 o'clock games, Pittsburgh and Kansas City. I don't know how, if you're Mike Tomlin, how you would ever let Tyreek Hill beat you. I mean, what are you doing if you're Pittsburgh Steelers and their defensive coordinator? Are you just going to literally lock in on Hill and force CEH and the rest of these guys to beat you? That's how I would do it. What are your thoughts? How nervous are you about Hill?
Yeah, very. But I've come to the conclusion over the last 45 seconds that start your studs. I just there's no world where I can start, my other choices. So I'm starting Tyreek Hill in our Devi 2 league. I'm playing David Donaldson. This is a team that I've got one loss on all season. So this is not the time to lose. And I'm starting Tyreek because I would rather go down with that man in my lineup than out of my lineup. Go down with him out of my lineup. If he goes off of my bench, I'll never forgive myself.
And he is capable of winning you the week.
Yeah.
More exactly. Than likely, the person that you're going to put in his spot is not going to win you the week. You don't have any...
my choices would be Marvin Jones or Javante Freeman, Jordan Howard. These guys, are just a desperation, get some points kind of guys.
Nope, we are on the same page. All right, Mike Kenny in the chat wants to know Dak, Tua, or Kirk. So I'm going to throw this one to you first.
Oh, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I don't think he means Kirk Angel or Kirk
Well,
Angel.
I was thinking, I just was thinking Christian Kirk.
Oh,
I guess because I watched that game last night.
Yep. Watch the old Colts take him down. It's fine. It's all good.
So, Dak's got a decent matchup against the football team. I'm sure they have plenty of people still out with the Rona. Tua is playing. Looking for Miami.
He's playing New Orleans at New Orleans on the road.
That's a tough matchup. That would probably be third for me. Even though I love Tua, that's a tough matchup, and he's still young and inexperienced. And Cousins is playing the Rams at home. I think I'm going Dak. I'm going Dak on Sunday night against the football team.
I am going Captain Kirk against the Rams. Not the best matchup for the quarterback, but I just see a high-scoring game. I'm looking at my Vegas spreadsheet. The total in this game is 49.5. That's the highest total on the board. Should have Adam Thielen back in at least I don't want to say completely limited, but in a limited capacity. And this is still an Arizona team, or excuse me, a Rams team that gave up 447 total yards passing, or excuse me, total yards to the Cardinals, 344 passing. They gave up 300 to the Packers. They do tend, the Rams being they do tend to make limited quarterbacks look limited, but I'm looking at some of the scores they've given up in the last 4 weeks. They let the Seahawks score 20, the Cardinals scored 30. Excuse me, I'm reading these all backwards. I got this all screwed up. Green Bay scored 36, Jacksonville scored 7, Cardinals scored 23, Seahawks scored 10. I'm still going to go with Christian Kirk. Dak has not exactly set the world on fire.
Christian Kirk?
No. Kirk Cousins.
Gotcha.
We tend to give this guy a lot of hell, but he's still a top 10 fantasy QB on the season. I don't know how I can get away from him.
He has been a hell of a player this year.
I don't know how I can get to Dak. You like Dak. What are you seeing in this matchup that you like?
So you make a good argument for Kirk Cousins, and I might be coming over to your side. But what I like about Dak is their running game is a little bit banged up. Zeke and Pollard. Zeke hasn't missed time, but he's obviously playing hurt. And that's what the football team's strength is, stopping the run. I don't think their secondary is as good as their front seven, even though I don't know who's playing and who isn't in their on their defense. I just think that rational, good coaching would say, let's attack them through the air. That's where they're vulnerable. And that's why I would go Dak. Obviously he has the weapons and the ability, and he's got the talent to be a top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback. He hasn't really shown that this year because, number one, he hasn't actually played all that well, and number two, they've been more of a running team than a passing team. So you made a good point in it. I guess I was just thinking that when you think of the Rams, you think of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, and you think, wow, I want to stay away from that matchup. But I guess they're a little bit stars and scrubs on their defense, so maybe they do have some holes that can be exploited. And the Vikings have weapons on all levels of the field, so it's not like they only have one way to beat you. Even with Dalvin Cook out, Alexander Madison's a beast.
In the last matchup against the Washington football team, Dak scored 9.9 basic ESPN scoring points.
But that was when they were at full strength.
No, they weren't at full strength. They didn't.
When was
have,
that?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, okay.
Yeah, they didn't have Montez Sweat, one of their defensive ends. They're still short Chase Young. They're not getting him back.
Right.
But, they are getting Tyler Heineke. The only hope you have for Dak in this matchup is if Washington scores points.
Yeah.
If Washington doesn't score points and Washington turns the ball over, and to your point, Dallas can get up, they're going to ground and pound. They're going to ground and pound the football team with Pollard and Zeke. That's what they did last time. They almost let them creep back in the game, if you remember.
I don't remember that game, actually. I probably missed that game. So
they won 27-20.
Okay.
They were up 20-0. And let him get back in it. So that's kind of the best case scenario is that. But, Dak hasn't had a game to hang your hat on since week 12. He had 25 points. So he's only crossed the 20-point barrier twice since the game he missed with the calf. So not great. Had the big game on Thanksgiving against the Raiders. And then before that, he had the big game against the Falcons. And I just don't see it. Kirk Cousins tends to play to the level of the team around him. Had 25 points against the Packers, 20 against the Lions, 14 at home against the Steelers. That was a couple of bad interceptions game. But again, I'm going to go Kirk Cousins. He is the 8th overall QB on the season, and I'm not going to bench him for Dak or definitely not Tua. Sorry.
All right, you convinced me.
I know
I'm
you
with
love
you.
him.
You convinced me. I'm with you. I think part of it is my brain goes to always to default not Kirk Cousins. Which is wrong.
You in the world because he's Kirk Cousins.
Right. But that's wrong this year.
From a dynasty, yeah. I mean, Kirk Cousins has been giving you 18.7 points on average per game. Now, that's better than Joe Burrow. So if we were to ask you, hey, who's had a better, if we were to ask, like if you walk into a bar where everybody's a casual fantasy gamer and say, hey, who's had a better fantasy season this year, Kirk Cousins or Joe Burrow? Without question, I would say 9 out of 10 patrons in said bar would say Joe Burrow, and they'd be wrong. So Kirk Cousins kind of boring. Hopefully he doesn't come down with that Rona, but I'm going to go Kirk Cousins as well. All right. Brett wants to know, DJ Moore with the injury and QB concerns or Tony Pollard on Sunday Night Football. Jesse?
Well, I kind of need to know the scoring format. So if this is standard, I'm going Pollard all day. If this is a full point PPR with any other bonuses towards wide receivers, I might lean DJ Moore, but it's just going to be such a low volume.
He said PPR.
What's that?
He popped in the chat PPR.
I'd probably still stay with DJ Moore, even though the volume would be low. He's what they have. He's their best weapon. I don't love Cam, but I don't hate Cam either. I actually kind of like him a little better than Darnold at this point. So yeah, DJ Moore. Don't love it, but I'd go with him over a backup running back.
Yeah, if you play Pollard in this spot, you're kind of hoping for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at DJ Moore. I know he had some concerns of the injury, But, in spite of bad quarterback play and the hamstring, DJ Moore still had 13 points last week. And you got to ask yourself, what's the likelihood he can do that again? Oh, and by the way, Sam Darnold, per Ian Rappaport, Sam Darnold activated off of the injury list and expected to get a lot of playing time today. And
Huh?
Yeah, that's confirmed. Cam is going to quote unquote start, but Sam Darnold will be in there. And
That just kills me.
DJ,
Can I just start one or the other, please?
DJ Moore is with Sam Darnold, his first 4 games of the season were 15, 22, 21, 32. Then the wheels kind of came off the wagon. It was Sam was hurt and then playing hurt. And then you had PJ Walker, Texas Ranger, and it became a mess. But yeah, Sam Darnold, Ian Rappaport tweeted out this morning that Sam is back. He's off the IR. I actually just had to move him off of the IR in a dynasty league to be able to submit a roster because he created the IR violation.
Yeah, same. So
I actually love the passing game weapons for the Panthers today because they're going to be behind. I love wide receivers in games where you have to pass to keep up. You can't
Tampa
run.
Secondary is tough though.
The Tampa Bay secondary. No, they're really good against the run.
They lost everybody. Yeah,
they lost Javante David first of all.
Yeah,
I think he was the green dot. He was the signal caller. I'm actually pulling it up right now. The Buccaneers to the wide receiver position, in the middle 12. They're not great. They're not horrible. Standard points, they give up 21.3, and PPR points, they give up 36. So not a horrible matchup. On the season to just the wide receiver position, they've given up 194 receptions to the wide receiver for 2,236. So you can divide those numbers by 14. So not as horrible as it looks on paper. And I like the fact that they'll be underdogs. You start looking at receivers on these 10-point underdogs, you start seeing where there's the opportunity to get some points.
So what do we do at quarterback there? All right. So for example, I'm in a league. It's a 2 quarterback league, right? Not super flex. You have to start 2 quarterbacks. I'm locked in with Herbert as my 1, but as my 2, I was going to start Cam. I also have Sam Darnold and Davis Mills, and Danny Dimes.
Okay, so say those again for me.
So starting Herbert, and then my choices at second quarterback are Scam, Davis Mills, or Darnold.
Okay, Davis Mills, Darnold. Who was the first one?
Scam Newton.
Oh, Scam. I'm not playing Newton in that spot. I'm doing a little looking of how Davis Mills has. So over his last 2 games, Davis Mills had 18 and 14. He is the starter. He is playing against a Chargers defense that is top 10 against the pass. They will be behind. He will be throwing. You are getting no rushing floor from him. So you have Darnold, Cam, and then there was one more guy.
Mills.
Oh, Mills. So it's Ufa.
Yeah, that's it.
Oof.
Yeah, Danny Dimes is on IR. So that's my entire quarterback room.
Man, you have taken it on the chin. I'm looking at fantasy points. So fantasy points, the Chargers, again, they're in that middle quartile. To the quarterback, regular points, they're giving up 17.2. I know FanDuel, because the website I'm using has all 3. So for me, if I can get 18 points out of my QB2, which is, okay, let's look at what he's done. 18 2 weeks ago against the Seahawks, 15 last week against the Jaguars. In a game he's going to be behind. He's going to be passing the ball. Can he get you what Carson Wentz got you last night? Can he get you 250 and 2? I think he can. So
against the Chargers.
And we do have our buddy Mike chipping in. There is no Brandon Cooks today, but
that's true.
I don't think that matters to me. I don't know the division of labor You know,
Yeah.
I don't know the division of late. I don't think Cam Newton's going to last more than a series, but we're talking about the end of the world as we know it. If you don't get this one, if you get this one right. Oh,
Right.
our friend Brian Ford from the gang over at Fantasy in Frames jumped in. He said Mills, 2 exclamation points. No Bosa, 17th versus the QB, 15th COV on PFF, no run game, negative game script. I think I have to agree with Brian.
All right. Let's do it.
I'm going Bush Mills.
I'm putting Davis Mills in. God, that just
Oh my
oh,
God. So let's do that. Let's have some fun. Let's talk the ugliest name that you have in a dynasty roster in a game that matters today.
well, I mean, that works. Oh, I know what it is. I have to start Djx.
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
My other choice was Ernest Johnson. I've just been hit so hard in this league that I just don't have guys.
No, I understand. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
That is tough. For me, I've got enough depth to be able to get through the day. What cracks me up is that in two of my most important leagues, so I have two leagues. One is Trade Addict 7. I am 12-2. The other is the Ultimate Dynasty Podcasters League. I'm 13-1. And in both of these leagues, I have the tag team of Austin Eckler and Leonard Fournette.
Mm.
Brutal. So I'm playing Javante Parker in one, and I don't even know what I'm going to do in the other. But how you like that? You get all the way here, all the way to the semifinals, and then injury and COVID kick you right square in the junk.
Yeah. Well, the way I play fantasy football, it worked out for me with Fournette. There's one team I'm counting on him, and that's that's the league I've been in since 1995. The league that we started is my home league. It's $1,000 buy-in, and thank the Lord I was smart enough to have Ronald Jones. So I'm throwing him out there.
So just in your opinion, I'm looking at some trades right now. What's a good return for Eckler? So in this league, I've got James Robinson, Damien Harris, Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt. I mean, I've got guys. I've got some rookie picks coming up. Obviously, what would be a good name to trade for Eckler?
So you want to trade for him this morning and start somebody? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to move him for like right now. What can I get that's going to help me both now and later?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you need to start a running back, or can it be a wide receiver?
In this league, it's one QB, one super flex, one tight end, and everything else is 7 flexes. You can have one. You have to have
okay.
one at every position, and then one super flex, and the rest are all flexes. As I like to call it, the Lord's format.
Do you think you could get T. Higgins for him?
I'm not giving up Austin Eckler for T. Higgins though.
You're not?
No.
Who's going to have the longer career?
I'm not disputing that, but I think off name value, I can get more in a vacuum. Like right now, I'm looking at a guy who's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'd like to get a big name. I'd like to get a big name player.
So you'd rather have CEH than Higgins?
I'm not taking either one of them straight up for Austin Eckler.
Yeah, so maybe you can get T. Higgins plus for Eckler.
I could probably get Saquon Barkley.
Okay. I mean, I like that. I like that a lot, but I don't like it really for today.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is that I'm asking because I'm trying to juggle a lot of balls in the air and trying to figure out how can I make this move. Oh my goodness, this might be the ugliest question of Laquan Treadwell or Jalen Reagor is my grossest choice in the playoffs.
Oofa. I mean, yeah, Reagor.
Really? I guess. Because I'm going to go Laquan Treadwell because he has been serving as the de facto number one in Jacksonville. The Jets secondary is horrible. The weather in East Rutherford, New Jersey today is going to be pretty good. It's going to be sunny and in the 50s, low 40s to the 50s. So from an everything you could ask for standpoint, I actually bet my man Trevor Lawrence over his passing prop again. He got there by half a yard for me last week. How about that?
Very nice.
Not too shabby. So we'll jump on. We got more people jumping into some questions. We'll
What
let
about
those get.
Keenan Allen would be a guy that could help you win today.
Keenan Allen is a guy that I love. I will certainly look into that because here's the thing: you're not going to get any trades from your other three teams contending.
Right.
So I'm just looking at, man, what could I get someone to give me that would help me today, and then help me long term. So I'm just not seeing it's the unfortunate part. And Mike said, "What the hell? 50 degrees. It's 12 here right now." So you're just throwing out some names for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no idea what your league looks like, but these are guys that I would want to have in my lineup today.
And Swift is inactive, by the way. Swift inactive.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that real quick. This is probably my most major decision that I have to make today. So
Okay.
that helps. In that league, this is my oldest league. You know, this is worth quite a bit of money if I win it, over $10,000. So this is a very important decision.
Awesome.
In my flex, I could go Swift, Jamal Williams, or Galladay. So obviously it's not Swift. So Jamal Williams with no Swift or Galladay.
You know, I just don't know what the division of labor is going to look like in Detroit. Now, if you're asking me what does Dan Campbell do? Now, let me ask you a question. Let me answer your question with a question. I know that's bad manners, but you're going to have to work with me. Does Dan Campbell strike you as the kind of coach that's going to let an established veteran like Jamal Williams get Wally pipped by the young Craig Reynolds, or do you see Jamal Williams reassuming his role?
I absolutely see Jamal Williams coming in and reassuming his role. God, was he annoying for the first half of the season. You know, just pretty much an exact 50-50 split with Swift and driving everybody nuts when you could clearly see Swift was the better back. It's just that Dan Campbell loves Jamal Williams, knows he's not going to make the critical error, knows he's not going to whiff on a pass protection, that kind of thing, knows he's not going to have a critical fumble, so he's going to go with him. You know, that's who Dan Campbell is.
If memory serves me correctly, didn't Jamal Williams play the Thursday game with Tim Boyle on Thanksgiving? Was that not a thing?
Yeah. As a matter, when Swift went down.
It was the Thanksgiving game. That's right, and I believe Goff was out that game as well.
Yeah. So I mean, Jamal Williams is going to play, and
that's what
Galladay is going to have Darius Slay on him all day. He will travel with Galladay.
And you kind of just answered my question for me. Against the Bears on Thanksgiving, Jamal Williams had 65 yards rushing and 5 receptions for 18 yards. So no touchdown, got 13 points. And your Philadelphia Eagles are the third toughest matchups for wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah,
from a fantasy points perspective.
Yeah, our corners have played well all year. Steven Nelson and Darius Slay have played really well. And Avonte Maddox out of the slot is he actually just got an extension for how well he's played.
And let's look at it this way. Would you rather have the running back with Tim Boyle, or would you rather have the wide receiver with Jake from State Farm? Because Jake Fromm's starting.
Yeah, the running back.
So if Jamal Williams is going, I may actually put him in that league I was talking about where I was going to play Devontae Parker in a horrible matchup on the road against the Saints, and I may put in Jamal Williams if that is the case. So, all right, we have a good man with a good name. His name is Randy Paulson. Good morning, boys. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. Jesse, feel better. Do I start Rojo or Gibson? Rojo or Gibson?
I'm seeing Gibson. What is he saying? I'm seeing Gibson is a guaranteed. Is that what he's saying?
He's saying game time decision.
Oh, game time decision. Okay, sorry, I didn't. I really like Rojo today. Um, Carolina's defense is pretty tough, but without their passing weapons, um, Tom Brady looked very frustrated. Like, I think they're going to hand off a lot, and I really like Ronald Jones. Yeah, he doesn't get you PPR points. He doesn't have a lot of catches, but he is a good, honest power back that could easily have 100 yards and a touchdown today.
Yeah, I think you're kind of banking on the touchdown, though. Carolina is the sixth toughest matchup for running backs. They're giving up less than 100 rushing yards per game. Now, I want to put that in context a little bit. What happens when you're a losing team? What do teams tend to do to you toward the end of a game?
Run the ball.
And for a team that has faced teams that they've lost like what, 5 of their last 6 maybe? And for them to only give up less than 100 yards a game to the running back position, Ronald Jones coming out of mothballs, I mean, he could come out there running wild. For me, and I want to make sure I caveat this, if I could get my hands on a Duke Johnson, maybe you have Tony Pollard if you don't, or Zeke, but I could get my hands on a Mark Ingram, if I could get my hands on a Duke Johnson, a Myles Gaskin, then I would rather risk it with Gibson. That's me, but that's the decision. The real decision is do you think Gibson's going to go? I would go directly to Twitter, and I would start looking at Washington football team beat writers and see what the general sense is there, as well as Shefty and Rappaport and the others. I would rather play Gibson. PPR upside. He's also killed in Dallas. He killed in Dallas last year on Thanksgiving. So,
yeah, there's no question in my mind that he's the better player, but just the fact that it's the night game and you got to make the decision on, you got to make the decision on Rojo for the 1:00 games. I'm just getting myself points, in this situation. I can't take a 0.
I can't blame you. I was pulling up. I want to look at the playoff picture because Washington's still in it in the playoff picture in the NFC, and I just want to see, could there be a confluence of events that leads to this being a must-win game for them? If Minnesota loses, if Philadelphia were to lose again to the Giants, I mean,
bite
there
your
could
tongue.
be, huh?
I said bite your tongue.
I mean, I'm just saying there's a world where this game could matter a lot. I think Gibson's going to go. He's played through this crap all year. Okay. So I would lean Gibson, but I can understand it's a bird in the hand versus 2 in a bush.
Right.
All right, let's go to Anthony. Anthony said, which 2 out of DJ Moore, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jackson, and Melvin Gordon? Now, this is some real choices.
Which 2?
Yep.
There's a lot to unpack here.
It's like Panera Bread. You pick 2. It's soup, salad, or sandwich. For me, I am going CEH for sure. I don't love the matchup for the running back against Pittsburgh, although you might be surprised to know that Pittsburgh is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're the 7th best matchup for running backs on the season in terms of fantasy points, giving up 21.4 non-PPR points and about 25-ish PPR points a game to the running back position. Now, Darrell Williams will be involved, but with no Travis Kelce out there, I got to lean CEH is one of the 2 for me for sure. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I like CEH first, and I'm surprisingly going to go Justin Jackson second because of no Eckler, and the matchup is just juicy against Houston.
My only fear with Justin Jackson is that you remember 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Dalvin Cook was out. Imagine that. Every time you think you can count on Dalvin Cook, he misses a big game. And so no Dalvin Cook, and everybody put Alexander Madison in their lineup. I think it was 2 years ago. I think they were playing Green Bay, if I remember correctly. And this feels like that spot with Justin Jackson. I feel like I think they're going to get up. I think you're going to see more Larry Roundtree the third than you want to see. You're going to want more Josh Kelly, because if you get up, what are they going to do? They're going to try to keep everybody healthy, everybody safe, pound the ball with Larry and Josh, and you're going to wind up with your junk in your hand. I'm going DJ Moore. I'm going to go CEH and DJ Moore.
I'm going to stand by Justin Jackson just because he's not their starter, so they're not going to. I don't see them saving him. Eckler should be back.
It's how I see them. I don't see him getting goal line carries. I see that being Roundtree or Kelly.
Yeah, those guys are definitely the bigger backs.
What you're banking on with Justin Jackson is that you're banking on him getting the receiving work that Eckler normally gets.
Right.
That's what you're banking on.
Right,
I think
and with no Mike Williams.
I mean, if you're looking for that nice between the 20s guy,
yeah.
Here's an analogy or a comp for you. You're going to get a very Devin Singletary-esque week out of Justin Jackson this week. I think when they're inside the 20s, you're going to see more Kelly and Roundtree. And when they're in the middle of the field, you'll see plenty of Justin Jackson.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And if you had asked me 2 years ago who the better back was, Justin Jackson or Austin Eckler, I had to tell you they were the same guy. I mean, Austin Eckler definitely got on the vitamin program that Justin Jackson did not.
That is what chicken. That's what chicken, broccoli, and creatine will do for you.
Chicken, broccoli, and creatine. No vitamin D ball involved. But
no. There was no. He was not taking any test.
And that's the difference between the two of them now. Eckler can be counted on in the red zone of the goal line, and Justin Jackson never beefed up like Eckler did.
All right. So our boy Chris Stroud, he wants to know. First of all, he said, "Merry Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas to you as well." With DeAndre Swift out, I need to choose between Saquon Barkley and Javante Williams. Who do I go with?
I like Javante Williams a little bit here.
Man, we're killing each other. I'm on the opposite side. Go ahead and tell me why Javante.
Well, I just think he's playing better, and he's got the better matchup. I know Vegas is no pushover, but the Eagles have been tough on actually. Eagles have tightened up quite a bit lately. Last 5-6 weeks since the defensive focus changed from earlier in the year. They were just letting up yards like crazy. No, but they couldn't stop anyone. I don't know. Barkley has ripped us in the past. I just feel Javante Williams is a safer bet because he's been doing it and Barkley hasn't.
Here's why I'm going Barkley. The Philadelphia Eagles have allowed 93 receptions to the running back position. What do you see a lot of from Jake from State Farm? You see him look to his primary read. There is no Sterling Shepard. It's just the blanketed by Darius Slay, Kenny Galladay, Slayton, Barkley, and Ingram. It's why I bet Ingram over his receiving yardage prop on DraftKings, which was 31.5. And it's why I think your boy Saquon is going to get quite a bit of check down work. So for me, if we look up if you're in a PPR, a half PPR league, I just see the necessity of Barkley being involved a lot more than Javante.
That's a good call. We don't have a linebacker that can cover a tight end or a running back.
And in a PPR world, it's hard, right? And it's kind of sucks for people that it's gotten to the point where you have to ask this question about Barkley. But I'm looking at a team in Philadelphia that, they're giving up what, 6? Yeah, I mean almost 7 receptions a game to the running back. So if Barkley walks out of there with 5 or 6 receptions for 30 or 40 yards, and then even if he gets I know his rushing prop is like 59.5. If he hits his rushing prop, let's say he hits 60, gets another 9 in PPR points, that's 15 points. If he trips over his junk and falls in the end zone, now you're looking at a 20-point week. I just don't see that with Javante unless he breaks one away or if Melvin Gordon gets magically ruled out. So for me, plus it's a Drew Lock game. And we have no idea what Drew Lock and Javante look like together. I know what Drew Lock and Melvin Gordon look like together. So for me, I'm going to go with the PPR value of Mr. Saquon Barkley.
Okay. I mean, it's a good problem to have. I'd love to know that team. Is there a way you can get them both in? I guess.
Our boy Mike always hangs out with all of our shows. Great supporter of the DWZ. He says Fromm has Tony today. Yeah, but how long? How long?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got an oblique injury. All right. Brian Ford just acquired Alexander Madison. So he wants to know Madison versus the Rams or MG3 versus Las Vegas.
Go ahead.
It's tough. The Rams are a tough matchup, but I'm looking at in terms of yards per game. No, the Rams are in terms of yards given up to running backs. They're the seventh toughest matchup in the league. They've given up 1,100 yards to the running back position in 14 games and only 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. And then I'm looking at the Raiders. The Raiders, I thought they would be higher up on the list. There they are. They're giving up about 100 yards a game. So basically, the Raiders are giving up 100 yards rushing to running backs. That's not to the primary back. That's to all the running backs they faced on a given team. So 14. So they're giving up about 100 yards and 13 touchdowns. So we'll round up. We'll say about a touchdown a game and 100 yards. How is that 100 yards and half a touchdown going to be split between Melvin Gordon and Javante? The good thing is the Raiders do give up a lot of passing and yards and receptions to the running back. The problem is this is Drew Lock, right? I don't see Drew Lock being the big check down guy. I see YOLO balls, and Drew Lock kind of has that like low key Konami code. So I am going to lean Madison, even though I'm playing against him, which probably means it's a surefire thing that he just blows up and melts faces.
I'm going Madison based on workload. I don't think either one of them is a great matchup, and the split workload, like you said, I'm going with the volume.
When you have to answer questions like this, it just reminds me.
Stupid fucking game.
Yeah, this is how I feel. It's like you got to make these decisions. All right, so we've caught up in the queue. Yeah, man, this Jamal Williams thing has got me thinking. I don't think Atlanta's a tough matchup for the running back position. I'm looking at it right now. Not great. They've given up 1,300 rushing yards, 12 rushing TDs. They've given up 84 receptions to their running back and 3 receiving touchdowns. I think it's hard to get away from Jamal Williams, Jesse.
I agree.
So I will ask you.
I don't think
you've helped me. I'm sorry. I've helped you. You help me.
Okay.
Javante Parker or Mr. Jamal Williams?
Jamal Williams. See, first of all, I know this isn't the craziest thing in the world. Javante Parker has not been on the COVID list yet, as far as I know. So he could come up with COVID by the time tomorrow night comes around. And I have a guy that's playing right now. Let's take the guy that's playing right now. Also, New Orleans is a tough matchup. I don't like the way that they can completely shut down an offense. Yeah, I'm definitely going Jamal Williams here. Atlanta doesn't scare me. And as we talked about, Dan Campbell's going to ride him. That's his horse. He loves that guy.
And I was thinking, too, what kind of wide receiver does Marshawn Lattimore have a good track record of shutting down? The big body outside clasher. Like Mike Evans? Like Devontae Parker? So, for me, I'm probably going to have to go Jamal Williams. Jamal. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I think Waddle is playing in this game, so it's not like Parker's the only game in town.
All right. Scott Fishbowl 11. Lots of injuries, bad choices. Pick 2. Noah Fant. Bass, the kicker at New England. Born of Buffalo. #gross.
All right, let's do a callback to what you just said about Drew Lock. If he's the YOLO guy, Fant still got all the ability that he's always had. Noah Fant hasn't regressed. Their passing game has, right? So if you've got Drew Lock in there, I think that's the best chance. Although the kicker,
See,
I mean, I'm
seeing,
definitely I'm ruling out Bourne versus Buffalo. That's a tough matchup in a low volume offense. So no. Do you want the upside with Fant possibly scoring a long touchdown, a 50-yarder, or do you want the guaranteed floor with Bass as the kicker? That's the question.
I see a lot of drive stalling in the red zone. So that one's got me. And what I'm looking at last week is your boy Albert Okwuegbunam having 3 receptions and Fant having 5. I don't know who, because Teddy did throw 12 he completed 12, attempted 22, and then Locke come in and went 6 of 12 himself. For me, his old college teammate, Albert O, could factor in big for me. So I'm going to lean to Bass. I'm just going to lean to Bass because I just see this being a game where like 19-14 wins that game with Buffalo and New England. I see a lot of drive stall, and there's not like a big weather concern in New England today like there was in Buffalo a few weeks ago. So I'll go Bass, who's been one of the better kickers, and what might be the grossest thing I've ever said in the history of this show.
I will say that if you're down Brian Ford and you need to make up a lot of points, go Fant. If not, Bass has a guaranteed floor.
That is a great way to look at it. All right. Pick 2, half-point PPR, Javante Williams, Rojo, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith.
I'm going T. Higgins.
That's your man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just like him, and Baltimore's secondary is just so decimated, that's in a technical sense has been decimated, which means they've been reduced to a 10th of what their normal secondary players would be, right? So, yeah, I definitely like T. Higgins. That's a good matchup. Burrow's healthy. They're playing well. He's been hot. Devontae Smith, he's out.
He's not playing? Or he's just
no,
out?
He's out of the discussion. He's out of the discussion for me. It's a low volume passing offense, probably one of the lowest in the NFL. And if the Eagles really have any chance, it's going to be with Hurts in the running game. And just wide receivers are not a focus in Philly. Goddard is the number 1 target, right, in a low volume passing offense with a running quarterback with an offensive coordinator that wants to hand off. I don't want that guy. I don't want that wide receiver starting for me. So it's between Javante Williams or Roja.
Well, being the half-point PPR, I'm going to go Rojo. The PPR work means a lot less. And I think
Agreed.
Even though it might be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I think you're going to get a lot of volume out of Rojo. And again, 50-50. I mean, I love Javante Williams next year. But right now, Melvin Gordon is the pain in our ass. And I'm going to agree. I am going to go Rojo for sure, given the scoring format. Devontae Smith definitely out, given the scoring format. That leads me down to Javante and T. Higgins. My thing is I see Cincinnati wanting to establish some dominance in that division. They've already beat Baltimore once. What a good way to establish yourself within the AFC North, not only now, but in the future, by just reaching out and punching Baltimore right square in the beak. So for me, I am going to go Higgins and Rojo. But if you let's say you had a great couple of games Thursday and Saturday and you're up a bunch, then I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to put Javante in there for the safe 10 points over T. Higgins. Fair?
Right. Yeah, let's do it. Let's rock T. Higgins and Rojo.
T. Higgins and Rojo, final answer. All right, here's one from my boy Chris. Chris wants to know, how about Jamal Williams versus the island of Foster Moreau in a Superflex tight end premium 1.75? And although that 1.75 tight end premium is juicy, Denver is the toughest matchup for tight ends on the season. They have given up one tight end touchdown all season long and only have given up 56 receptions to the tight end position. That's about 4.5 a game. So for me, I am easily going to go Jamal Williams in what should be a pretty good matchup for him in a come from behind victory. So I am going Jamal Williams. How you like that for data?
Oh yeah, I think tremendous, and that's not a question. If you're Foster Moreau, that's like chasing clouds right now. He just hasn't shown it. He showed it 1 week and then not at all. So
if it was like a touchdown only, if it was a touchdown only league, maybe. All right, toughie. Albert O, Cole Kmet, or Tyler Higbee for a tight end standard PPR flex. Definitely not Albert O.
Yeah, Higbee.
You're Higbee, okay. I always like referring to the data. Minnesota.
It's not that far apart, Higbee and Kmet, but I just like Higbee as somebody that's done it a little more.
I am gonna go. Let's go with just pure non-PPR points. I'm gonna go Cole Kmet. He's had a couple of decent games over the last few. Higbee coming back off of the COVID list. Minnesota, not a great matchup for the tight end. It seems like all the work in LA is going to Cooper Kupp, and now Odell Beckham is starting to establish himself. I've always wanted Tyler Higbee to be more of a thing than he is. So for me, I'm going to lean Kmet, but I can understand why you would go Higbee, Jess.
So here's the other thing. Of the 7 teams I have left in fantasy football, 4 of them, I believe, have the Stafford to Kupp hookup. So that is sure to fail today. So go Higbee.
I'm just looking at Cole Kmet's. I'm looking at Cole Kmet's targets over the last, and don't forget who his quarterback is today. Big Dick Nick Foles.
Oh yeah.
They announced earlier in the week that Foles is the starter. Do you remember how Foles used the tight end in Philadelphia during the playoffs? I mean, him and Zach Ertz were doing a lot of big things, and I'm looking at Cole Kmet's targets since the Lions game, since Thanksgiving: 11, 7, 5, 9. Before that, he had a two-target stinker against the Ravens, but before that, he had 8 against the Steelers, 6 against the Niners, and 6 against the Bucks. You got to like that usage a lot more than Cole Kmet coming back after missing 2 games when he's going to be far from an option. Who is the third option in Chicago? Is it Cole Kmet? Is it David Montgomery? Because the other one's the second option. So for me, I'm going to lean Kmet based on recent volume, quarterback play, playing from behind.
Okay. I mean, you could,
it's not like we're choosing between Kittle and Kelsey here. I mean, we're using every bit of data we can find to try to help you pick a winner.
I will say that what you get out of Nick Foles is sort of like looking in your pantry and pulling out a can without a label on it. Could be peaches, could be lunch meat.
Could be Spam. Now, Spam, it's in a square can. I'm looking at Higbee. He's only had more than 8 targets on the season twice. And just been a kind of a ho-hum season for this poor guy. So I've always wanted him to be more now, predictions sure to go wrong. He'll wind up smashing today. But, Jesse, we're coming up on an hour, man. What else are you going to be looking at before you set your final lineups?
Well, I have a huge decision to make.
Oh, let's go. Wheels up.
Right. So, I first of all, I need to understand what's going on with the Rams running game. Okay. So last week, Henderson was active sort of as an emergency player, right? He didn't really play. Or he did play, but he was sort of the second back to Michelle. This week, everybody seems to think it's going to go the same way. Is there a reason for that?
Let me first of all, Sony Michel has looked very good over the last handful of games. When under Sean McVay did this offense look their best?
Last year when they had Cam Akers?
No, 3 years ago when they had Todd Gurley.
Oh, yeah.
Part of what I heard, the really smart NFL guys that I listen to, and whether you like him or not, that's neither here nor there. But I've listened to guys like Mark Schlereth, like Michael Lombardi, talk about the problem the Rams are having during that mild run is that they were trying to get everything through Matthew Stafford in the passing game. And what this team was, this was a very much a Shanahan run the ball offense. And Sony Michel has looked the best I've seen him look in a long time. And they've been winning games. I would not be surprised if you did not see Sony Michel continue to be the hot hand, especially if they're up early. And, I think you're going to see Darrell Henderson on passing down snaps. Does that analysis make sense?
It does. It scares the crap out of me, and I don't really want to start either one.
Right? I will tell you, in a league where I am playing for not $10,000 money like you, pal, but I'm playing for a decent amount of money, and it's a point per carry league, and I'm playing Sony. I'm sorry, it's a quarter point per.
Okay.
So I cannot get away from Sony. I would love to. I wish I had a better option, but I think this is a pretty good matchup for him.
So what all right, so here's what I could do. I have Henderson, I have Sony Michel. I could move Damien Harris to the running back spot and start as a flex. Instead of Michel or Henderson, I could start either Goddard or Hollywood Brown. This is a half PPR, no tight end premium.
Are you the favorite or are you the underdog?
I'm the underdog.
Then I would go Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
They should be behind. YOLO quarterback. I mean, what's Josh Johnson got to lose?
Oof, Josh Johnson, though.
I mean, that's the whole thing. That's I mean, I can't see Goddard doing a ton because I need him to, but that's neither here nor there. I'm looking at snap shares over the last couple of weeks with old Sony Michel. So obviously 2 of these games were not played by Darrell Henderson, but his snaps have went from 19 to 97 to 100 to 73%. So he still got a 73% snap share with Darrell Henderson last week.
Man, this is a tough call. I mean, right now I have Henderson, and I feel like I absolutely have to get him out. Hollywood scares me because he's not scored 10 points in this league since week 9.
You know what? I don't hate Goddard, and here's why. What offense are they running in Philadelphia right now? Do you know?
What offense are they running? What do you mean?
Yeah, they're running the Cliff, not the Cliff Kingsbury, the guy who just is now the head coach of USC, formerly of Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley. They're running the Lincoln Riley offense. Who else has ran this type of offense and done well? They have aspects to that offense in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. We really have started to see the connection between Goddard and Goddard and Jalen really blossom over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to look at I'm looking at
and 34. Well, the 34-point game was with Minshew. But
yeah, but he had a huge game on Monday night against the football team.
He did.
And the football team had been pretty tough against the tight end position. They were in that top 12 to 15 against the tight end position. I just see him being their number 1 passing option. And we'd have to go back to, if you give me just a second, I will let you know. When did they play last time? They played he had 1 catch for 1 reception the last time they played the G-Men. So it is gambling, sir.
That was an entirely different offense we were running, though, at that point. I mean,
2 weeks ago?
Oh, shit.
It was
more.
Man,
that game just happened, didn't it? Yeah, you're right.
It was they
1 catch for 0 yards, half point.
Yeah, he now that was week 12. Since then, he went 12. For 31.5, had a bye, and came back with 24. I'm going to go out on the limb and say that they're featuring him more and his volume. But sometimes the box score doesn't tell the entire tale. So last game he had 9 targets. The game before that 6. The stinker that we were just talking about, he had 3 targets.
So what? How are the Giants against tight ends overall of the year?
I'm looking for you. They are 13th toughest. They give
middle of the pack. It's not like they're known for shutting them down.
If it makes you happy, The football team who he just lit up is 14th. So
right.
I just think that Goddard has to be a larger part of their game plan.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to go Goddard. I need him to. So
All right.
there you go.
That's what I'm doing.
All right.
All right. So, man. So this lineup is Russ Kamara, Damien Harris, Debo already went, T. Higgins, Kittle already went, Goddard, and some special teams crap. Oh, and I took a 0 out of my defense. The Browns. That's fun.
Well, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to go set some lineups. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go set my lineups. The weather here in Indiana is going to be in the mid-50s. I'm going to get out of the house for a little bit. Then I'm going to come back and sweat the evening games because no one's going to have any Dolphins or Saints tomorrow night. Maybe you might have a Kamara out there. We'll see.
Yeah, Kamara.
All right, man. Another good show. We'll do this next week for championship week. We'll take a break going into week 18, and then we'll start talking some playoffs.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right, man. I hope you feel better.
All right. Thank you very much.
See you, buddy.
It.
Yep.
All right.